to the Crypto Report, everybody. I am Crypto Kip. Good morning, everybody. We have some breaking crypto news for you today. A couple stories that I wanted to share with you. We'll look at a market open, of course, for the traditional market as that is happening right now. Let's see where we are headed today. What's going on with Bitcoin? And yes, there were some big liquidations that happened in Bitcoin recently due to the global turmoil that is happening, specifically the turmoil that recently broke out in the Middle East, which we have made some predictions on, and that seemingly came true. Now, we haven't totally fallen off a cliff. We don't have complete market panic, complete market crash. Things are still up in the air. Nobody really knows who's intervening with what's going to happen next. There's a lot of chaos going on right now. Very tragic situation that's going on in the Middle East, and the markets are going to react accordingly. So let's just take a peek at what's going on, some of the big stories, and today we're going to take a peek at Sam Bankman-Fried's mansion for the first time. Actually, we've seen like one or two images, but we're going to get an in-depth look into it in this video, as there is another update on the SBF trial. But a lot of crypto news to get over, so let's get in there. Let's start chatting about it. This is the Crypto Report, guys. I've got my morning cup of Joe. Welcome, everybody. Let me take a sip, share my screen, and let's get into it, guys. We like to keep it as real as possible here at the Crypto Report. I'm just a guy here, been in crypto for 3 bull cycles, and I'm telling you, I'm so excited for this next one. I am so bullish on this industry. We talk about not only crypto, but AI, the traditional market. I bought my first real estate investment property recently. We're going to start talking more about that as that comes up. I'll be moving in, I think, November 13th. So I'm very excited about that. And it is a great time to be accumulating not only real estate. Actually, interest rates are terrible. So maybe you could argue that it's a tough time to be accumulating real estate. But I believe real estate is going to keep going up over time. And I believe that the same is true for Bitcoin. Bitcoin is extremely valuable, guys, and it's only going to get more scarce as this Bitcoin halving event comes. And we'll look into some comments, actually, for some big players in the market, specifically Fidelity. Guys, Fidelity is trying to launch their own spot Bitcoin ETF, and that is likely going to come here. In January, we'll probably see ARK Invest's Bitcoin ETF get approved, and then in March, we'll see an onslaught of more coming along. BlackRock, BlackRock, Van Eck, Fidelity. We'll see some of these come through. Now, there is a chance that when the SEC approves ARK Invest's ETF, maybe they approve everybody else's as well. So we got to keep an eye out on that. But right now, the price of Bitcoin's down below 28,000. That's a key level that we've been watching. And we're back down to 27,400. Now, we are just hanging on. Really, Bitcoin is pending next steps in the conflict that's going on. I think you do see some volatility going on surrounding this. There were some liquidations that you have to be aware of. I think the big reason that Ethereum sold off so much more than Bitcoin, look, it's down 5% in the last 7 days versus Bitcoin only down 0.2% in the last 7 days, is because the Ethereum Foundation sold off a lot of Bitcoin. Millions of dollars worth of Bitcoin. I think $30 million worth of Bitcoin. Ethereum, $30 million worth of Ethereum. And last time they did this was when ETH was at $2,000 and there was a big sell-off from there. That's a story I talked about recently, but you guys got to be aware of it. So there might be some more downside coming for that. A lot of people are looking temporarily, just in the short term, bearish on ETH. I look at that as an incredible accumulation opportunity. I'm trying to accumulate as much Bitcoin and Ethereum as I can personally, because I do believe that those are the fulcrum of everything that is crypto as we lead into the next bull market. And of course, some other altcoin projects will shine alongside them, probably Crocoin, Binance, some others as well. XRP, I think, Solana, there's an argument to be made there. But Binance is hanging on to a cliff here at $207. Down less than Ethereum over the last 7 days, but really hanging on by a thread. We'll look at that chart later. XRP below 50 cents. I've been saying since 80 cents that I'm not buying this thing unless it's below 80 cents. 50 cents is a decent time to accumulate, but there is a chance that I think that XRP could fall down to 30 cents. How do I get a look at a coin like that? Good morning, Chrome and Empire. I see you in the chat. Thanks for joining us today, guys. Appreciate it. You just kind of look at some of the previous floors and you see 30 cents is some destination for XRP. If you go to the all-time chart, there's definitely a lot of history right around this 30 cent level, especially recently. Wouldn't be surprised if Bitcoin came tumbling back down to $21,000 or $24,000 again to see XRP make a move downward and give somebody who's an XRP lover another accumulation opportunity. So be on the lookout for that. Guys, we still have a lot of time to the Bitcoin halving, hundreds of days. Couple hundred days, 150 days, I think, to the Bitcoin halving. And then the bull market doesn't start right away. So if you want to accumulate some of your meme coins, you want to accumulate Dogecoin because you believe in Elon Musk is going to pump up Dogecoin, integrated in the X app, aka Twitter, then, maybe these are good levels to be accumulating because it's down. It's down. But there's still, again, if Bitcoin tumbles, could be an even better opportunity to accumulate those. Now, looking at some of these other tokens, right now, Uniswap is a big loser. Again, one of the biggest DEXs on Ethereum. That makes sense. So you can start to see why some of the moves happen. Ethereum Foundation sells off a big bag of ETH. Uniswap becomes a biggest loser, down 8%. Now, when Ethereum pumps, Uniswap's going to be one of the biggest gainers. Mark my words, guys. We'll check that out when that comes along. Now, Cronos coin, currently below 5 cents. That's a coin we like to look at a lot. But the overall market's just down today, guys, and there is very good reason for that. Now, unusually, the S&P 500 is going up right now. The traditional market is slightly climbing up, which actually is surprising to me. Now, we made a prediction that the traditional market would kind of potentially have some big old panic crash on Monday, which was yesterday, and now today I kind of expected more of the same. Yesterday was not such a bad day. I think it was slightly red for the S&P 500, if not slightly green. And today, the S&P 500 is actually green. Nobody's really talking about, at least when it comes to the markets, this conflict in the Middle East. It seems like the markets have moved on, which is crazy to me. Looking at the daily candles for the S&P 500, we got a third green candle in a row trying to pop up. So yeah, yesterday was a green day, and today trying to be another green day. Can this market continue to rally even though there's a conflict going on right now in the Middle East that the U.S. may or may not get dragged into? Let's keep an eye on this thing. It's hard to predict what exactly is going to happen. Sometimes one thing makes all the sense in the world and the opposite happens when it comes to the markets. Very confusing time. The biggest fear that I have with this conflict, besides the tragic human loss tolls that are happening, the obvious part, which there's tragedy going on, and that's the worst part about this. But from the market standpoint and from a global economic standpoint, banks right now are fearful about more inflation hikes. And if you're a citizen in the U.S. and you've been frustrated with what's been going on with inflation lately, then this is a story that you have to recognize is a reality. As war and turmoil pop up, guys, you are going to see more issues with inflation globally. And just when we thought maybe we were getting close to the end of the inflation rate hikes, this turmoil going on in the Middle East could raise more possibilities for future rate hikes from the Fed. Now, how does that make the market go up? Doesn't really make sense to me. I've been expecting a market sell-off due to this news. We weren't getting it. Nobody's right every time. Hard to predict these markets. Time in the market beats timing the market, guys. You really can't pick what's going to happen just based on a news story. We thought, hey, maybe is this a black swan event? Maybe it is. I don't know. Maybe there's a next step that happens. Maybe it's not. Maybe this is somehow bullish for American markets. I wouldn't understand how, but it certainly is an interesting thing to be watching. What's very interesting to me, as the S&P 500 is finding daily candles upwards, let's look at the weekly candles for Bitcoin. Second weekly candle in a row, falling down even further right now. Just after this market open, let's look at the daily candles. This is the third red candle in a row for Bitcoin. So Bitcoin, 3 daily red candles versus the S&P 500's 3 daily green candles. Is Bitcoin separating itself out from the S&P 500 finally? That could certainly be a possibility. When things get bullish for Bitcoin, that would be a lot of fun to see. Now, if all of a sudden there is a great recession in the U.S. economy, that could be an opportunity for one of two things to happen for Bitcoin. Either Bitcoin stays on the trajectory of the S&P 500 and it crumbles down along with the traditional market, or it finally breaks out from the pack and it's used as the hedge against the government-run currencies, the fiat currencies of the central banks and the governments around the world that are trying to control every little thing. I think that it makes more sense that if the market crashes people find a place to flee, which is Bitcoin, and Bitcoin gets bullish. Now, right now, Bitcoin's coming down 3 days in a row as S&P 500 is going up 3 days in a row. Is this finally a time we're seeing them go separate directions? Hard to say, guys. Hard to say right now. Bitcoin's a lot more volatile. You got to kind of look at longer term moves, in my opinion. So it's too soon to call that, but it's something we are going to keep our eye on. In the meantime, I do expect Bitcoin to continue to fall down to the $26,200 level at least, and possibly even down to the $24,800 level. Once we test that, if we stay above it, we can bounce back up and trade into some of these channels. If we break down below it, I'm looking out for 21K, maybe high 22, and then a $19,500 Bitcoin for the final grand finale bottom of the bear market, which I would expect to be at around somewhere around these levels, guys. Does it have to happen? Absolutely not. If it does happen, am I going to buy that dip, accumulate more? Absolutely. Absolutely indeed, guys. So that's what I'm looking out for right now. That's something that I think everybody has to be conscious of. Let's look at some of the recent moves that have happened due to this conflict that's been going on in the Middle East. Now, like we said, we expected some volatility in these markets. We did get some. Bitcoin's going down, and crypto traders are suffering the brunt of the losses in terms of economically. Not talking aside from the human life piece, which is the worst part, obviously. But the crypto traders are getting hit with liquidations right now, which is very, very interesting. So, you had some liquidations on some longs because we've had 3 red days in a row, and there are some big liquidations going on for the longs right now. That's why these are green. Ethereum liquidations, especially due to the Ethereum Foundation selling off as much Ethereum as they did. So that's one of the big reasons that there have been so many losses besides the turmoil fear out in the Middle East. And so that's going on, guys. And there have been some big liquidations, things that are kind of putting October in the balance of what happens next. Typically, it's bullish. We're only up 2% right now. With everything going on in the world, with the fear of interest rate hikes possibly coming, Fed Chair Powell may be reacting. We're not really sure exactly how October is going to pan out. But we do expect, again, in the long term, Bitcoin to be bullish, which we'll look at some of those stories here in a second. Regardless of what happens in October, November, December, March of 2024, Bitcoin halving's coming, supply shock to Bitcoin, and it's on right here, coming very soon on the horizon. Now, Fidelity, one of the biggest financial institutions in the world, is so bullish on Bitcoin, but specifically Bitcoin, which is why, I believe in Bitcoin as well, not because of Fidelity per se, but, Fidelity is one of the largest financial institutions. They're going to launch a spot Bitcoin ETF, as well as BlackRock and everybody else. And they label this as the most secure and decentralized crypto. Recently, Joe Rogan came out and said that this could be the currency for the world for the future. You also saw the creator of ChatGPT, Sam Altman, come out in support of Bitcoin. I think there's a lot of very interesting folks out there, a lot of very influential figures, and large players in the financial markets and in the technological side of the world right now, the guy who created AI, that are bullish on crypto, and that is for a reason, guys, because it is not battling the inflation. In fact, it is deflationary. And what's very interesting to me is recently, pro-Bitcoin presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr. dropped out of the Democratic Party to run as an independent. This is a big, big thing to see. This is a big story, guys, because it does show that the Democratic Party is not willing to embrace a pro-Bitcoin candidate, in my opinion. I could be wrong there, but it seems like there are more pro-Bitcoin candidates on the right and on the independent side than there are in the Democratic Party. This is going to be an interesting thing to watch play out. Is Bitcoin about to get a lot more political? It may. We'll have to keep an eye on it. It's just a very interesting story that I wanted to share on with you guys. And the more political it gets, the more controversial it gets, the more controversial it gets, the more popular it gets, and so on and so forth. You can look that bad news is good news historically. You can look at a lot of things in history. The more something gets talked about, the stronger the movement becomes. That's kind of how it works. Now, speaking of that, let's talk a little bit about some comments that CZ made yesterday. He said this. This was a very interesting tweet I want to share with you. In my world, the more people working in a task, the slower it moves. The less people working in a task, the faster it gets done. Now, the reason I wanted to share with you guys was because this is such a true statement. The more people working on a task, the slower it moves. I'm in a band, okay? And in this band, when you have 5 people that want to work on the social media presence for your band, then it turns out that, everybody assumes that somebody else is getting it done, or somebody does something and the other 4 people don't like it, or 2 of the 5 people don't like it. And so then they say, we should do this instead. And then it's in their hands to edit it and fix it. And then so they want to adjust it. And doesn't have to be a band. That could be any project you're working on for work, for fun, with your friends, with your family, whoever, whatever. The more people working on a task, too many cooks in the kitchen. That's a saying for a reason, guys. Now, the less people working on a task, the faster it gets done. This was an interesting tweet that CZ shared. Now, the reason I want to share this with you guys is because there have been some layoffs recently for Binance in this year. There's been some layoffs in the crypto industry. Why? Because it's a bear market. They don't have as much disposable income as they used to. They're not in a rapid acquisition of talent mode because at the end of the day, they're really just trying to acquire companies and acquire more businesses as opposed to acquiring employees and having more people on the payroll. The less people working on a task, the faster it gets done. I think there's some truth to that, and this is a very interesting perspective. Now, when this bull market comes back, I do believe that Binance and CZ are going to continue to hire again, and we can expect that. But we got to get through a couple things first, one being the FTX trial and crypto regulation and some of this FUD that Binance has been seeing as of late. For the first time, guys, I'm going to show you guys inside, in depth, Sam Bankman-Fried's $35 million crypto frat house in the Bahamas. Let's take a peek here. So look at the stories on this. Look at all the different levels to this $35 million mansion. This is absolutely unbelievable. And you can see these private pools are extraordinary. Why does this guy need to do this? Remember, we thought he had old gym shoes, old raggedy t-shirts, an old Honda, and they're sitting here enjoying beautiful pies in their $35 million mansion. And you could even see that there was a chronicle sexual explorations, which is weird. And this is what they were doing. They were stealing user funds. They were doing amphetamines. They were having strange sexual explorations, and which, by the way, do whatever you want. Your personal life is your personal life, but this is a company. Where's HR? Where's HR? This is a company. This is a business. You leave your explorations off company ground. Now, that's the weird part. This is like some dormitory business headquarters. It's weird. It's just weird. It doesn't make any sense. Your own personal life, do what you're going to do personally. I'm not going to judge you, but when you're getting customers' funds tied up into your frat house and you're paying for your frat house with the customer funds and you're buying real estate in the Bahamas for your parents and for your brother and for yourself because you're stealing from users, and then you're getting this beautiful piano lounge and this crazy Bohemian palace. This stuff is nuts, guys. You see some tweets. Sam Bankman-Fried says, I assume that, we wouldn't pay anything, and that Alameda would just cover it. Alameda Research, his girlfriend's company, would just cover it. Very, very twisted. Now, Caroline Ellison, Sam Bankman-Fried's ex-girlfriend, is going to go on the stand here very soon. Look at this building. Look at this mansion. This is absolutely unbelievable. Insane. The luxury on this. Why is this necessary? It's certainly not. Tennis courts, everything. Look at this luxury, guys. This is the last place that he got to live before now he gets concrete and iron bars for the rest of his life, likely, guys. Was it worth it, Sam Bankman-Fried? Was it worth it? Let me know. You guys think Sam Bankman-Fried thinks it was worth it? Let me know in the comments down below. Very, very unusual. Very, very crazy that this is going on right now. And this gives crypto a bad look. But at the end of the day, folks, this is the true story about Bitcoin and crypto. We're in a bear market. A bull market's coming. Sure, there's global conflicts that are happening, and these are horrible. My heart goes out to anybody struggling right now, anybody with any, loss of family, friends, anything like that. It's terrible. This is a crazy time. But, from an economic perspective, we are going to have some turmoil. From a Bitcoin perspective, this is just news that's going on. Well, the story for Bitcoin is there is a supply shock event coming, and there's a halving coming up, and there's a bull cycle coming. And I don't think that anything going on in the globe changes that. In fact, anything going on in the globe that's negative for world powers, for society as a whole, I think points us further towards Bitcoin, which only makes the possibility of this chart going up even greater, in my opinion. Let me know what your thoughts are on that in the comments down below, guys. So there we go. How's everybody doing? I'm going to look at the chat now. We'll do a little Q&A and see what's going on with everybody out there. See how everybody's doing. Let's see. Oh, sorry about that. Thank you. Missed my sound there. But no, so Chrome and Empire asked, could a big drop in BNB cause an overall market crash? I believe it's possible. Next support around 185, then a black hole. You know, I don't believe that Binance would cause the overall market crash. Let me tell you why. Because I think that it's the opposite is true. If Bitcoin falls down in a big way, breaks back down to 24K, breaks back down to 22 or 21K or 19,000, then Binance will finally lose support. I don't think that if Binance loses support, Bitcoin has to crash, or maybe altcoins start to crash a little bit, but not in a full-on market crash. I think the opposite's true. I think Binance crashes if the broader market falls. Period. What genre is my band? It's a wedding band. I'm in a wedding band. Bada bing, bada boom. Haley says HR is the biggest crock in business. Hey, got to take those training videos, you know. Very interesting. What I do for a living is I sell stuff to HR people. Very interesting. Good morning. I do what Jesus does, keeps me accountable. John 3:16, godly man out in the chat. Appreciate you, John. Good morning. Good morning, God bless. Garg Hamlet, hello everyone. SBF is a child, Croman says. Yeah, absolutely. Sorry about the little sound issue, guys. Got it fixed. But yeah, I mean, right now, guys, look, there's a lot of tragedy going on in the world. There's a lot of negativity, and it's real. There's real turmoil. There's real issues happening right now. And there's a bear market going on, and it's really, really tough. Is there still no sound, guys? No, I think we got the sound back. But look, guys, at the end of the day, you can do what you can do. What can we do? As somebody who, you know, can't really affect something that's going on around the globe, what can you do? You can stay informed. You could do your own research, not just for crypto, but for like these global conflicts that are going on. You could stay informed. Please let me know if the sound's fixed, by the way, guys. You can be honest about a situation, you know. You can stay informed. Do your own research and just don't believe anything at face value. And you know what? You can pray for peace, okay? That's really what we can do. And at the end of the day, guys, I wake up every morning and there's a couple things that I try to focus on. It's positivity. Hard to do at a time like this. Hard to put anything like what's going on in the globe right now in a positive light in any capacity. But you gotta be positive. You gotta look at the bright side. You gotta have hope for the future. You gotta be grateful. You gotta be grateful for what you have day to day. Grateful if you know you aren't being affected by this chaos. You might be affected emotionally, and maybe you are affected, and if so, you know, it's tough. That's tough. But, you know, we got to wake up every day, do the best we can, stay educated, stay informed, stay positive, stay hopeful, stay grateful. And we got to communicate with each other. Positivity, gratitude, communication. They're my top 3 words, my favorite words in existence. I probably should talk about that more. It's a strange thing I have. I don't have any tattoos. If I were to ever get tattoos, I think they'd be revolved around those 3 things: positivity, gratitude, communication. I noticed that my life is better and the life of the people around me is better when I focus on those things. They're hard to do because, I'm a big crypto guy. Crypto's down. Crypto's getting crushed. I care about people. People are dying right now. People's lives are getting destroyed. Families are getting uprooted. It's tragic. But at the end of the day, we can spread love, man. We can spread hope. We can spread positivity. We can promote communication. And at the end of the day, those are probably about the only things that can get us moving forward to a good place in the world and for crypto, guys. Because at the end of the day, there's a lot of people that hate crypto that just don't even understand it. They don't want to even have a conversation, communication about what this whole thing's about. You ask them what Bitcoin's about, they say, well, there's a lot of scandals and scams, and it's, hyped up fraud, Jamie Dimon says, and it's rat poison squared, says Warren Buffett, and you look at all these things, but that's not communication. That's not positivity. That's not good. That's not good for anybody. Maybe it's good for them because they invest in banks and they don't want banks to have competition, which is currencies, cryptocurrencies to be precise. All right, guys, that's all I got for you in this one. Thanks for tuning in, folks. If you want to become a member on this channel and support us, then you can do so in the link in the description down below. But that's all I got for you guys in this one. Let me know, by the way, are you guys enjoying these Bitcoin streams? I don't want to just be a CrowCoin channel. Now, guys, I got a lot of CRO tokens. We got a lot of crypto.com coins. The goal is to bring in newcomers to cryptocurrency overall, start them on the king of crypto, which is Bitcoin, okay? And I think that it's important for us to take this opportunity in a bear market to educate people that are new, not just talk about CRO. Are we bullish on it? Yeah, I'm still doing Crow videos, but we're going to be talking a lot more about Bitcoin, and I want you guys to buckle up, get ready, and, enjoy it. Enjoy it, guys. That's all I got for you, though, in this one. I'm Crypto Kip. This is the Crypto Report. Don't forget to smash up the like button, subscribe to the channel, and as always, folks, you got to remember to DCA, HODL, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks, everybody. Have a great night. Got 2 videos for you coming later today.